Welcome to another episode.
Welcome back.
Another episode of the Scoundrels podcast. You got Amar, Joe, and Vinay.
What's up, guys?
Nene Gooter. The Guam Guapo.
Vinay's a little bit nervous.
These guys dragged me on.
He's very on edge about this whole experience.
Holy triangles finally here.
Definitely can't share it on IG.
You're an original. This isn't like a one-time thing.
Oh.
Guess
Yeah.
They'll come later.
It is. It's weird when you first sit down and do it. It does feel weird.
It does.
It does feel weird.
The ring light is really...
You got lights in your face, microphone.
It's an intro to influencing.
Yeah.
Your TikTok is next, about to blow up.
Yeah. Part of the reason you do this, though, is to get more comfortable with this kind of stuff.
This is true. This is a new experience. So, yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Let
Joe,
us know.
do you want to toss us a little Bachelor recap?
Yeah.
How are you feeling? The finale happened. I saw that.
So just to give a little recap, I don't know if you guys know what happened.
Absolutely not.
But basically...
don't watch a single episode.
I've been watching The Bachelor for maybe 4 or 5 years now. Not like religiously, but I'm pretty familiar with the past few years of the show.
How'd you get into watching The Bachelor? Was it an ex or
No, it was
bad break.
I'm trying to remember. I think
bad hookup.
My sister, honestly, I remember her watching it, and then kind of getting into it, and then girls I knew in college would watch it, and it kind of took off from there.
Okay.
And then eventually I got real into it. It just kind of sucked me in.
Is this when we get the reality show story? Your reality show story?
Reality
story. Damn it.
But the
that's a full podcast, right?
Yeah,
oh my God.
I think I'm going to do that.
That's
a separate thing for
next week's episode, for sure.
But basically what happened on The Bachelor last night, Matt, who's the Bachelor, he's a black guy. And the girl that makes it to the end, her name's Rachel. And there was a thing that came out after the filming of the show had subsided that she was when she was in college, this is like 3 years ago, 2018, she was at a antebellum or Old South like college party.
Right.
It was like they're in old time dresses,
Yep.
kind of. The setting had the kind of look of a plantation. I don't know how intentional it all was. But regardless, it caused a lot of controversy. And so she kind of was silent for a while after it came out. And then she came out and she issued like the formal apology, posted a bunch of stuff on Instagram, did the whole charade.
Right.
And then meanwhile, we're watching the show unfold, which had already been filmed before all this came out. And she wins the entire show.
Interesting.
She wins the entire show where the Bachelor is black.
Does the Bachelor, what we said his name's Matt?
His name's Matt,
Does he know about everything going on?
Not at the time she's winning the show because it didn't come out. Because what happens is they finish filming.
Right.
And then after they finish filming, there's a period of silence.
Right.
Where like they literally
can't say anything.
Like they separate them. They're not allowed to hang out with each other.
Yep.
They can't say a thing because they want the show. They don't want spoilers leaked out.
Well, no, they're not even. Well, yeah, they're contractually obligated to not say anything.
Yep. So the show airs while they're just like sitting at home quietly and watching this all unfold. And all this stuff came out after filming was finished and the show was airing. So at this point, she already won the show.
Yep.
Wow.
Like you can't make this stuff up.
So where are they now?
So the way Matt finishes the show is you're supposed to propose at the end of it. Mm-hmm. Almost everyone there's some kind of proposal. He kind of backs out of proposing at the end and like says he's not ready and stuff like that, which I think the show itself kind of frowns upon that, but he kind of did it anyway. And basically he gave her the rose at the end and asked her if she wanted to be his girlfriend. He basically said, we're not going to get engaged, but let's leave here together and be boyfriend, girlfriend.
With no idea of everything that happened in 2018.
With no idea about any of this stuff.
Like, was Chris Harrison at the rose ceremony?
No, I'm going to go into that.
Okay. All right.
So she
hard-hitting deeds from Joe, too.
Yeah. So she wins the show basically. Yeah. Not engaged, but they're dating.
And this was last night.
all this was unveiled last night on the show. Like they did,
Right.
she was on camera for the first time since the show ended in an interview. What happened was, number one, Chris Harrison got fired because in the wake of all these allegations, he did an interview and said not something that I thought had malice or wrong to it, but he misspoke in a way that was maybe taken out of context or maybe couldn't be interpreted as insensitive. But basically he's gone.
Okay.
So they bring in a new guy to replace him.
For this one episode.
For this one interview after the final show. And the guy's name is Emmanuel Acho.
Okay.
Legend. He was sick at Texas. Amazing football player.
I'm actually really familiar with him. He hosts a show called Speak for Yourself on Fox Sports.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Is that the one with, what's the one he has McConaughey on to talk about during all the BLM stuff? That was like a super strong, like great piece that they did together.
Yeah.
Like
but I'm
issues.
familiar with him. He mainly talks sports.
Okay.
Was a linebacker in the NFL for a little bit, played at University of Texas. So he comes on, and he's the new host because they wanted something a little more.
And Rachel Lindsay said no
for the situation at hand.
Right.
And so he comes on. The first part of it, I thought he was a little. Like it seemed like he was a little uncomfortable. Like he didn't come off as like smooth as like Chris Harrison does.
Yeah.
But I think he was clearly saving it for when Rachel walked out. And when Rachel walked out, he sits her down, and I thought he was stellar in how he asked her tough questions. Like he basically said this is supposed to be like we should be able to have like open conversations about these things.
Right.
He kind of brought up the picture, and he basically said, I want to make sure I let you know that I don't think you're a racist.
Yeah.
I just think what you did is racially insensitive. And he was very clear in how he asked her tough questions without attacking her.
Totally.
Which I thought was great. I thought he did an A+ job on the entire situation.
Is that Emmanuel or Matt?
Emmanuel, when he's asking her, because she has to answer all these, and I thought she answered everything phenomenally.
Her statement was good too. I saw the Instagram post.
Yeah, sometimes when you see like celebrity cancellation apology videos, you can it kind of comes off like I just have to do this and get it over with.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Managers like maybe write this.
Her whole shtick came off as very, at least to me, and I could be wrong. Yeah, it came off as very genuine.
Yeah,
like I do think that she fully didn't really realize what she was doing, and I don't think she had any idea that these pictures were going to come out and blow up into. Like I don't think there was any malice behind what she did in 2018.
Right.
And I do think
she attended a college party.
Yeah, she attended a college party and with a bunch of her friends and dressed up in old time dresses.
And got dragged into it.
Yeah.
By being
Well, I just don't think she thought about that. It was that
which like a lot of none of us in college are we're going to college parties.
She answers everything beautifully. I do think it didn't seem like she was just going through the motions. It seemed like she genuinely cared about what she did and how it was perceived and how she can not do that again and learn and grow better or get better or whatever. And then they bring Matt on.
Okay. The Bachelor.
Yep. And apparently what happened, at least how it comes off with him. Number one, he looked super uncomfortable the entire time.
Interesting.
Even when they brought him on his own and they interviewed him with the other girl who was like a runner-up before. He seemed like he just had no interest and did not want to be there. Like I watched the whole season. I've never seen him look that uncomfortable.
Damn.
Was the beard still there from the?
He had the super thick beard. What he said is that once he found out about the allegations, he just dropped her.
Damn.
Just like stopped talking to her.
So
and
what,
said that that she
shocking,
needs to do work on her own.
Wow.
And he basically alluded to that there's no chance they're ever getting back.
So that's
together.
how it wrapped up.
That's how it wrapped up.
There's power in being the kind of person that like it's an opportunity for education as well. Like to say you need to figure it out on your own is not properly the right reaction. Where it's more of like these are the things you need to do and the steps you need to take, which is watch these movies, read these books, understand these issues, not like go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly my issue with it. And the main point I wanted to make is I feel like if the goal is to end these things that people do that are insensitive, the only way to really get people to stop doing that is to support them kind of when they screw up and allow them to grow from the situation. Like, I mean, that's like,
right.
And Emmanuel asked Rachel a question like, do you blame it on your upbringing? Because she grew up in like small town in Georgia.
Product of your environment.
Yeah, product of your environment. And she could have blamed it on that, but to her credit, she said, no, absolutely not. Like, I take full responsibility. Like, she didn't throw anything under the bus. And like, I grew up in a town similar to how she did. And like, I definitely did like insensitive things back in the day. And the only reason you stop doing them is because you go off and you do other things. Like, I went to the military, I went to college, I moved here, and you surround yourself with a more diverse friend group, and you meet people from different backgrounds who have different experiences, and you get to know them, and it rubs off on you. And then over time, it changes. And I just thought what Matt did was kind of screwed up, and that she's the girl that he loves on the show.
Well, do you think he did it for essentially views? Or did you actually think...
He would have gotten more public support if he stuck with her, I think.
Okay.
And maybe he didn't realize that, but it came off to me that at the end, he didn't want to be in a relationship with anyone. Because The Bachelor, the whole premise of The Bachelor is very fake and inauthentic.
Yep.
And that you have these guys that are The Bachelor, and they go on this show, and they're supposed to like fall in love and get married.
In
and
10
you have
weeks.
they're like...
it's a better story if he gives her a chance to learn and to... And
the trick on how they get them to convey all these emotions in the show is for however months or however long they're filming, they take away their phones, they take away their internet, and they have these producers that are like egging them on. And when I was in the military, you go to basic training, they take away your phone. It makes people more emotional.
Oh, I bet.
Like it's a weird thing, but they kind of mess with you in a way where they get you to like confess feelings and stuff like that. And it seems like they're really into each other.
Yep.
But then you go back out in the real world and you have 1 million Instagram followers. 95% of them are female. Like, once the real world hits, the last thing you want to do is like be engaged in that situation. And you're like a 29-year-old dude.
Right.
So I think he just wanted out, and I think he was just trying to get through it and just was doing anything he could to just get it over with and not have to deal with it anymore.
So he's your average late 20-something New York guy.
Yeah. But I think that I think it's a bad look for anyone. I think it's a bad look for him. Like, I think he should have. Like, I think if it was me, even if I didn't want to stay with her, I would have supported her through at least the next month or two until the situation was over. I mean, I can't speak for him.
So they're not getting back together.
No, absolutely not.
So
I just think it was real messed up how he left her high and dry.
Yeah.
In that situation like that, when she seemed like she was being so genuine and honestly wanted to try to improve on her misgivings.
Boys, so do we want to do a little weekend roundup?
Yeah, that's enough Bachelor. That stresses me out talking about that.
I know you looked stressed out, like you're sweating. It's like you ran a mile, Joe. I'm proud of you though. That honestly, I'm glad we got that one over with too. Well,
had to do it.
Let's talk through the exciting
stuff. You and I haven't
stuff.
seen a single episode.
No, I mean I've seen parts and like I read enough like news and get notifications that like I know he can see his eyes open. And
I just see the charcuterie boards.
Oh, best part.
Yeah,
easily.
Absolutely.
What's the first thing you take on the charcuterie board?
Oh, easily salami.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm a meat guy
big
first.
Meat guy.
But then if there's some type of like brie cheese.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, don't invite me if you don't have a brie on the board.
No, it has to have a brie.
The difference between an A and a B is brie.
Yeah.
If you bake it, A+.
Yep. Cleanse the palate with maybe a grape.
Woo! Some cranberry.
Ooh.
Fuck me up.
Yep.
All right. So let's do the weekend roundup. All right. So do you want to lead us off with? So let's start in the beginning. So I'll tell you my night. So this weekend, I started with drinks at an old friend's place. Solid time. Probably got more smashed than I should have. I meet Joe at a local watering hole to basically like have a couple beers before our plans that night, which were to go to what we knew would be like a pretty good spot.
Yep.
Joe, do you want to walk us into the next steps? And Vinay will chime in.
What's interesting about...
Well, Vinay, God damn, I'm all over the place today. Vinay didn't come to pre-beers. So to my surprise, we see him and I was like, came out of nowhere, which is great.
Well, I show up and I'm walking on these cobblestone streets right outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And call Joe, and there you guys are, and you're just all I see is a building, and you're seeing people like starting to trickle in, clearly dressed up, like clearly something's happening, but it's dead quiet, and you know something's going on, but you don't know what.
Yeah.
That's like the vibe. Like you're in. I mean, the last time I was in this area is, you know, pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And it is like just the outside of the building was a sight to see.
Yeah.
Like you knew something was going down.
Well, you're only there for work or to drink.
Right.
Like there's like really only two things.
Right.
All right, Joe, do you want to?
Well, basically, what was interesting about this to me is we're going to a place that sort of has no rules, and it's a bar where you're in a big crowd with no masks, and we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. You have to re-get used to it. And the first time I walked into this place in particular, you walk in and I remember seeing like all the people and the girls and everything. And you almost get like, I remember having like this like social anxiety.
Right.
About it.
You don't remember how to even interact.
Yeah.
It's like this like to last time versus this time.
Yeah.
So we go to this place, run into Vinay, get all excited. We try to go. Basically, they're like, fuck off. We're not allowing anybody in anymore at capacity. So we basically go. We're like kind of like walking around. We're taking a walk. We're thinking about what we're gonna do.
Well, we try to walk in, and the guy's like, walk around the block.
Yeah.
Walk around for 20 minutes.
We watch him deny about like 10, 15 people. Yep. And then finally, like the bouncer comes up to us and he goes, hey, got $100? And like, I'll let you guys in. So we kind of like basically like bribe this guy. Who knows where he's going to take us? Could have been Narnia. Could have just like taken our money. He's like, you got to pay me through the Cash App, which who the fuck uses the Cash App? So we're fucked, I think. I'm like, all right, we're going to get definitely like shanked, sold. Like our livers are getting sold in Mexico. We're fucked. So then like, sure enough, knocks on the door, gives 3 knocks. People try to follow us. He pushes them off. And then we go into this place. And what I could only describe is like something I haven't been to in a really long time. And my God, it was beautiful. Like it was like, you know, God had come down and like kissed his little lips and like give me a little tap. We'll call it the bank vault. Like that's the best way to describe it.
I mean, I will say like it was a sight to see, regardless of COVID, pre-COVID, all of that. That underground spot, the bank vault, was pretty epic.
Can we call it the bank vault?
We can call it the bank vault, I think.
Bank vault? Okay.
I don't want to give any more details than that.
Ruby Tuesday was what we talked about calling
it.
Ruby Tuesday
in the pre-show.
It's a good one.
But no, I was thinking about earlier, I was there the Friday before. I walked in with 2 buddies, and I just remember feeling like this social anxiety of like, wow, what do I even do in a place like this? Like everyone's free roaming. Yeah. There's a dance floor and like no one has masks, and I'm not in like behind the safety of my own like table. And you kind of feel this like primal nervousness about like talking to people or talking to girls and whatnot. And you're like, what is this? Like I've been through this before, and like, why is it coming back to me kind of thing?
Well, for me, what was really interesting was that I walked in and no masks were being worn. And I'm at that point, I'm like, do I put on a mask or is it, and you kind of realize like at this point you're in too deep.
Yeah.
Even if there is any concern.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because like for the number,
there were windows open, doors. there was air ventilation.
You have like 40 plus people pushing up against the bar trying to order drinks. And it's funny because no one's wearing a mask, but then you see like the occasional 1 or 2 people.
Yeah, you see a few people wearing a mask.
Yeah. Like it's
and it's
doing
just really
anything.
Interesting because it's just like, what is that? At that point, you're in it.
Yeah.
There's no escaping.
Yeah.
You're along for the adventure.
Yeah.
Well, we could also mention that the Venmo the next day for 3 beers and 3 shots was $180.
Yeah, $180 for
Bud
Lights and bottom shelf tequila shots.
Not even tall boys. Like just one classic bottle of Bud Light. Like Friday beers needs to get involved and like shank someone.
Yeah.
It should be illegal.
Yeah. But when we walked in though, I mean, we walked in like firing. Like I didn't have any of that like anxiety or nervousness walking in with you guys. It was interesting because that's the first time we've done something like that since we've known each other.
Yeah.
At that level. Like we've known each other a long time and we've hung out a lot. Like I met you before COVID, but I didn't meet you until after.
Really. Yeah.
But it was the first time actually walking into there. And I feel like we walked in and I just felt like kind of like we were the center of attention right away. Not the center of attention, but it felt effortless and fun and like back to the old ways.
It also had.
It was just nice to be in front of a DJ booth again. Like I just hung there for like 5 minutes and just kind of like danced.
Yep. But it also had like in a weird way modern prohibition
right?
vibes.
Yeah.
Right?
It really did. Yeah.
You're in there and you know like in 30, 40 plus years, people are going to be talking about this time and what people did to get around it and sneak through, which like obviously when you're in it, it's like frowned upon. But when you're looking back, it's definitely an interesting, because you know everyone is finding their ways to blow off steam and socialize when you're stuck at home.
Yeah.
But it's,
you're spot on. Like it's historic, right? Yeah. Like it did have one of those feels of like when you see 20s people partying in the Prohibition era. It was like that. Like it was full on. Like we're doing something that like we're gonna tell our kids about.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
It does feel like. I mean, and it sounds like, quote unquote, like bad to talk about this, that we're going to this place, but in like the non-worst way, there's like a sense of hopefulness to it when you walk in. It's like everyone's like happy to be there. Like sometimes how you know when you go in a club, there's like people that don't look like they want to be there.
Yeah.
Like maybe like girls or something that were brought there by a promoter.
Right.
And they're just kind of like there because they have to be.
Yeah.
Like it was none of that.
Yeah.
Like you walked in and like everyone seemed like everyone wanted to be talked to. Everyone wanted to have a good time. There's a new appreciation for socializing in that way.
Yeah.
Agreed. We're getting closer, man. 50%.
Yeah. I felt it the other like Thursday when we went to the workout on the pier.
Well, that's
like,
also too, the weather's getting a little warmer. Like up until this week, I mean, we've been getting like, we had a string of like almost like 70-degree weather, which I think is also like just energy's high right now. Vaccines are rolling out. Like there's just I guess kind of everyone's just kind of on the same boat with it being just like this, the air is just better. Like, the spirit's just higher, morale's a little bit better than it was, say, like a couple months ago.
Yeah. That was one of the most fun Thursdays I've had in such a long time.
The workout,
like going out and like working out with all the guys and then like just going to the bar after and just crushing all those beers and like just something very...
We could name drop. I mean, we went to Fiddles.
Yeah. I went to Fiddles 6.
All right, I have a question, different topic. I want to hear about your first jiu-jitsu class.
Oh, good call. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How did that go? And why I think the audience needs to know, like, why you even sign up for a jiu-jitsu class.
You want to fill him in, Herb?
Herb, just feel free to chime in. Producer Herb. Story time.
Good evening, all. You may not know who I am or what I do, but I am the voice behind the cameras, the one who makes the wheels turn.
Herb, I gotta say,
one of our hearts, Herb.
You have a great behind the camera voice.
As I made the joke on the first podcast, it sounds like that I have a face for radio, which is an insult in these media circles. So I would say Joe and I did our first jiu-jitsu class, putting it very shortly, as I have a Super Bowl bet with my roommate every year, of which there are punishments that each person has to do depending on who picks the losing team, which can be the topic of another podcast. But in this case, Libba was at our Super Bowl watch party, who was a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. And I eyed Libba down, and I saw his 2% body fat and my 2 inches and 45 pounds of fat on him.
He's so happy.
And I said, I can take this guy. Easy money. And he goes, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for like 10 years. And I go, well, I've been watching UFC for like
I've been
at least a total of 2 minutes. At least a total of 2 minutes. So now I'm training for 1 month in jiu-jitsu. As a white belt, it's gone very well so far. They said I was a prodigy. And then I had to get bigger pants because I nearly split the first ones. And I will be fighting Libba at some point between April and May.
You're getting tag team by...
I will not be getting tag team by anyone at this jiu-jitsu class.
I heard you have to take a beating from both Schmibba and Schmandy.
Yeah.
Okay.
My thoughts on jiu-jitsu, though, are that I have not grabbed onto and like tried to manhandle another person, like another dude like that.
Yeah, that's
since I did like 1 year of wrestling in like 5th grade kind of thing.
Okay.
And it's awkward at first because you literally have like your head in like some dude's chest and he's like doing like fake choke out moves on you, and you're like,
to be clear, it was my chest.
Yeah.
Did you get balls in your face?
Not for an extended period of time, but for a brief second.
Wait, okay, so class number 1, you guys roll in are you guys wearing gis or no gis?
They gave us gis, yeah.
Okay, so you guys are given gis, you guys put on the gis, and like walk us through, is it basically you just jump in and you're starting to wrestle?
The first half of the class they taught us like 2 different moves. And I were doing the moves together. And then the second half of the class, you're like, do they call it sparring or sparring?
Grappling.
What I don't know what the proper term is.
Lovemaking?
Rolling.
Yeah. So Brian and I.
Oh, rolling is the right one.
Rolling. Yeah. You're rolling on the mat.
Yeah. Brian and I rolled around on the mat for a while, and then I rolled around on the mat with a couple other people. But that was the most interesting part to me is the hand-to-hand stuff that like you don't really do unless you do jiu-jitsu or some kind of
it's not your everyday
like that. And at first it's awkward, like it's like I'm like literally like just grabbing this guy, like holding his shoulder or like trying to flip him off me, and then you start getting into it.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a very like primal feeling of like fighting but not fighting.
Yeah.
That like I don't really do, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my general thoughts on it.
Where were you most sore afterwards?
Feet got all torn up. And then hand. People were like
squeezing
and like gripping your hands.
And you're
like
gripping for life. Yeah. Like you're really gripping.
Well, the gis are tough too.
Yeah,
you
gotta really grip those gis and
What? When I was playing, I played flag football on Saturday, and that's something I noticed is when I was catching footballs, like my middle finger here still hurts.
Yeah.
And then my feet got a little beat up, like my heel got torn up.
So when's class number 2?
Next week, right?
Did you guys go this week already?
No, we moved it to one more week.
Wow. So that means your ass kicking delayed?
Only by a week, don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll be raising money for charity, most likely my medical bills.
We're going to need a live video of this. Also, I just want to watch my roommate kick your ass. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
He's quite I saw at rugby, he's quite the athlete.
Yeah, he's super athletic.
I
can't keep complimenting him.
Yeah, this is kind of weird.
This is not.
I was shocked at how speedy he was at rugby.
Yeah, but I understand he's pretty damn good. Like, he was a white belt.
Yeah.
But, like, at status, but he was, like, technique and ability-wise, like, blue belt professional. He's pretty solid. And he's like athletic, limber.
Yeah. It was touch rugby, and at one point, I'm pretty sure I was like,
wait, when did you guys play touch rugby?
I had him, and he just schooled me and ran in for a touch, like, totally juked me.
I'll tell you this, you can't run on the jiu-jitsu mat, so that's going to be pretty damn useless.
Which rugby was fun. I might have sprained my ankle on, like, the first play.
You guys play on some field?
Yeah, at the pier.
Pier 46.
Okay. Yeah.
You should come to that.
Joe just name dropping everything.
I know.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we should do it.
There's nothing like playing rugby and then grabbing beers with a bunch of Australians.
That was a fun Thursday. But not all of them are like that. Usually it's like a mix of like burpees and like a bunch of crazy workouts that like, it's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm usually finished those sessions and I've like smashed through like 500 calories.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So what's the next topic?
Well, okay. So like the new one I've been hearing about is like these ASMR things that are blowing up.
Oh my God.
And like, it just had me curious, right?
It's
like,
not new.
Yeah.
Amar just wanted to talk about ASMR.
I did.
For the listeners, before we even started this, Amar was like, we got to bring in some ASMR.
It's the hot thing right now. So Gen Z just started listening to this podcast, and I thought, can you
explain what it is for people who might not know?
Herb, I feel like you would give the best ASMR detail. ASMR.
So when you're normally on a podcast, you're usually talking at a bit of a distance and being a bit of a dickbag with the voice. But then if you really want to take it to the next level, you bring it in real close and you start to whisper.
Yeah,
and it's like I'm in your ear. And like that movie thing where it's all around you.
So essentially ASMR is the use of
audio
props.
Well, it's like an audio.
What is it a thing for?
I don't even know what
audio sensory.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mandible reconciliation.
We'll get Herb behind the camera to explain it.
But
So according to the old Wikipedia, autonomous sensory meridian response is a tingling sensation that typically begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and the upper spine. And that sounds pretty good. And this you can get for free.
I'll have that.
All right, so Amar, your big question is
what would be your? So we found out about a company that's well known that is famous now monetizing ASMR and doing pretty well.
Right.
Well, we'll call it what it is. It's right?
Yep.
They are using. Well, actually, now I'm very misspeaking. Very slanted rhyme, kind of linearly like related to ASMR. You can look it up for the PG people. But essentially, we thought ASMR would be fascinating. Got me thinking. Wheels were turning. And like, what would be your guys' ASMR sounds, or like, what would you use, right? Like, I find myself very gravitated to the fried chicken in the frame. Like, I think it's hilarious and like weirdly tantalizing, and I feel things when like someone eats fried chicken very close to the mic, like this. So, what are your guys' ASMR like?
I haven't spent a single.
It's a tingling sensation.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like when you take pre-workout.
No.
It's
like nails on a chalkboard, but not as like intense. Like you don't like cringing,
like
but
a
like
background noise that bothers you.
Wait, so are you saying
it just makes me feel something? It's sensory.
Is that?
No, not into ASMR. It actually does kind of make me like uncomfortable, but like it messes with your sensory system. That you're just like, why am I feeling this off a YouTube video?
Right. Fried chicken's a good one. I feel like potato chips or some type of crunchy chip is like the perfect ASMR, I don't know, food.
It's a good one.
Popcorn popping in the microwave.
I don't know if they can do that one.
Yeah, because you gotta have like a really high quality mic, and I haven't seen or heard of popcorn.
Corn on the cob's actually kind of interesting too.
That'd be a good one.
I saw a woman do that one.
Yeah.
And then what's probably really hot is like someone cutting like pork belly.
That
just sounds
so specific.
I don't know. Like, keep watching. I'm in this like food porn phase right now, where I'm just watching food videos
on TikTok or on.
I think it's Instagram Live, but it might be TikToks or Reels that come on.
They've been doing this whole thing where they literally are just sharing content where you'll get people to post a TikTok and then someone else will take it, post it on IG, get those likes.
Well, they repost all of them.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever used TikTok?
I've been sent TikToks and I watch, but I'm not on it. And
you've never posted a TikTok.
Yeah. No.
I went to a party over the summer, and it was on this rooftop of this building, and I remember seeing this group of girls at the party, and there was maybe like 20 of them, and they were like kind of like doing something like off in the corner away from everyone, and I went over to like see what they were doing. I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, oh, we're making TikToks. And like,
and that's when you joined.
No, in it.
I watched them. There's such a like production behind it.
I know.
And to be honest, like, I mean, I do this, like I'm getting better at some of this like video editing stuff.
Right.
I'd have no idea how to even start making a TikTok.
No, but I think
I kind of want someone to just sit down and like, I don't want to learn it. I want someone to sit down and teach me.
Yeah, because I think part of the appeal is you can do so much editing through it, and like really just do so much all in one place. I don't know. I
mean, there's you could edit quite a bit on TikTok, but I'm convinced there's a lot of the ones that are really good are taking it off of TikTok, doing their own editing, and then re-uploading it.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
because they're a lot of the ones that are really good TikTok stars also were really good YouTube video stars.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm like floored by some of the like not just famous TikTokers, like some people I like personally know that I follow on TikTok that have posted stuff. Like floored by some of the like creativity and how funny that they can just come up with this stuff.
Yeah, some of it's really, really solid. I had TikTok for a few months during peak COVID times, and I used it for like meal prep ideas.
Oh, that's a good one.
More than anything.
Yeah.
Meal prep ideas and just
DIY
like
hacks are good too.
Right. Just like the different challenges I couldn't keep up with. Most of them were just too annoying.
Yeah.
But there was some good, I don't even know what they call them, but like sub talks or whatever. There's like food talks, there's DIY talks, there's stripper talks, which is like where it's a bunch of professional dancers that kind of give you a sneak peek in their life outside of their job. And these things have like crazy followings.
Yeah, I mean, it's blowing up.
Yeah. It's unreal. I want someone to actually like teach me how to do it though. Like I'll
Joe,
post
we can
a
set
TikTok.
that up.
Amar's a TikTok dancer.
Now, I got an offline TikTok story for you guys. It might be a podcast topic one day. Recently, I guess I'll just like touch on it. Recently, I just got sent a Instagram message from someone who back in the day I went on like a Hinge date with, and they were into TikTok, and apparently I made an appearance in the TikTok. I was hammered. Yeah. But like I'm in it, and I'm like dancing in the back. Like kind of like being like, oh my gosh, throwback. Like just this showed up on my feed, and I was like, oh, like sweet, but also like, oh man, that's like out there in the world. Like, we'll offline about it. Maybe one day it'll be on the pod. But
I think that might be have to be a new thing is learn TikTok, and then we'll talk about it.
We could start something. I've got some dances down, little.
Yeah, it's not the dances though. Like there was like I remember this girl I dated. I followed her on there. She was like one of my first like follows on TikTok. She used to do like the dancing videos, but then they started she got real creative and started doing like funny ones. Yeah. And just I have no idea how people just come up with this stuff on there and then put together and edit the videos, because to me it like looks super complicated.
Yeah. So I actually started keeping a list. I don't know where my phone is, but essentially of like future TikToks. So like I've thought in my mind would be good because my wins like I'll just start thinking about shit and I'll be like, that'd be a funny TikTok. Like one of them would be like
drafts.
Me like being, oh, here I am. Yeah, drafts basically. And the one I thought of recently, I have a whole list and I got to find them. I'll spew them out. But like the one I thought of recently was like, you see me doing like random shit and you just turn around and like, I'm like, oh, like here's Amar at the gym. Like, oh, tough day at the gym. We're just working out. And like some dudes in the back like twerking or like him like thrusting and like doing something. Like,
but
like,
you've seen those. Those are like, I feel like around.
They're around. So that would be my sub TikTok. Would be like normal situations with someone like influences in the wild.
Yep.
TikTok
influencers
style.
in the wild would be like some type of
but
spin
we
on
set
that.
it up.
We could do a scoundrels TikTok.
We could. What would we do?
I don't know. I need to learn how to use it first.
Joe, this is our opportunity.
So there's
Take it to vault parties.
Yeah.
There's on Clubhouse. There's I don't even know what you call it, like a clubhouse and it's called NYU Girls Roasting Tech Guys, and it is really really good. Shout out to them, crushed it. But they essentially, it's a bar simulation, and you have thousands of people listening to these girls, and they're all really attractive girls.
How you can't see them on Clubhouse?
Well, they have like profile, like, and you have thousands of followers, and like it's also just built a bunch of hype. So you have a lot of people that are super curious. NYU Girls Roasting Tech Guys, like, what is this about? And they essentially pull people up from the audience in this online chat, audio chat like simulation to shoot their shot at someone either that is part of the host group, so one of these girls, or someone in the audience. And you get some like heavy hitters in there. You get NFL players, you get NBA players, you get a bunch of VC founders and partners.
Was this a one-time thing, or do they do it?
No, they do
regularly?
it every Thursday.
And they pick and choose whose turn it is to shoot
and they just
shot?
Well, you raise your hand, and they look at who's raising their hand, and they'll just pull. Yeah, they'll pull people up.
That's awesome.
And you literally have these people being like, "I want to shoot my shot." At so and so in the crowd. It's super funny because I remember listening for like 15 minutes, and you'll get like this one girl who.
This is all live.
This is all live.
Yeah.
She'll shoot a shot at this guy named Andrew, and Andrew's like, "Hey guys, thanks, I'm flattered, but I'm married." And it's just like this like awkward, funny moment. And so there could be some type of spin there.
Interesting.
A Clubhouse idea could be interesting.
Yeah. All right, cool.
What was that? Wait, no. What was the best Clubhouse line and the worst
From that one?
Yeah.
Oof. I don't remember. This was a few weeks ago that I listened to it. So the best was actually this guy came up and shot his shot towards a girl in the audience. And so when he does that, he's like, I'm going to shoot my shot towards Sarah. And so the host will look for Sarah in the audience, bring her up so that once you bring someone up, they could chat, basically. They could turn on and off their mic. And she's like, oh my God, thanks. Like, I'm flattered. By the way, we've actually met. You've bought me a drink in real life.
Oh, wow.
And this guy's like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? And she's like, yeah, like in Chicago at this bar. No. And he's like, no. Oh my God. And this girl just continues to go into him and is like, is your last 4 digits of your phone number like 765? And he's like, oh my God. And the entire audience, and you're just listening to this on your device, you're just freaking out. Like, is this planned? Is this set up? Yeah, it sounds set up, but I don't think it was. I think it was really just a really good story. So that was the best.
Shout out to Sarah.
The worst, let's see. The worst, you just get trolls that get up on there and they like want attention. They want people to click their profile, so they'll say something absurd.
What's the one on all the Instagram? Who else high as fuck right now? You ever seen that on like all these Instagram posts? There's that one Mason Ray guy that always goes, who else high as fuck right now? He puts up on every world star, everything.
Oh yeah,
I've seen
or
that.
like check out my new album, or like my dad thinks I'm ugly. What do you think?
And those bot type things, responses are so annoying. Yeah, you literally
like 3 months.
Those things are annoying. All right, what's next?
I think we can wrap. We've been going a while. We're finishing. Producer Herb is back on the ones and twos. These
long-time listeners of the podcast will love this one. Coming back from deep in the annals of the Scoundrels podcast is the game Heads of Tails. It's not anals, I can tell you that. The game Heads or Tails. Heads is a deep philosophical question. Tails is a dirty question. And the worst part is we switch coins during the game, so you never really know what you're going to get. Vinay, heads or tails?
Oh, high fives would suck.
Heads.
Yeah.
All right, we've got the deep philosophical question.
Thank God.
For your life, would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button?
I feel like the right answer is pause, but I'm going to go with the rewind.
I'm going rewind.
All right.
Just sounds, you could pause.
Joe, you may only speak when called upon.
Come with the remote as well?
Christopher Walken will be there regardless.
Oh, I'm in.
He does not have much work today since he killed Natalie Wood. Amar, heads or tails?
Heads.
Naughty question. Who would you rather catch in a naughty film?
Did I say that?
Your girlfriend or your parents?
Oh, that's good.
Oh, dude.
Oh, man.
Parents.
I'm going girlfriend.
Just added a little laugh track there, so it's going to sound weird. All right, Joe, back to you.
Listen to this.
Oh my
That's
God.
even worse.
Yeah.
Joe, back to you. Heads or tails?
Let's go tails.
All right. A deep philosophical question. According to a Yale University study on what makes a life worth living, there is a tripartite formal structure of human flourishing. So out of these three, which I will name after this, what is the most important for living the good life? Is it a life led well, meaning within some moral structure that you're living life according to those tenets?
Yep.
A life going well, that good things are happening to you, good health, or a life feeling good where you're happy and you kind of have a good internal understanding and feeling about the world?
I'm going 3. Feeling happy.
Feeling good, feeling happy.
Feeling good.
Vinay, heads or tails?
Tails.
Potentially dirty, but that's really up to you. I'd like you to read the last text that you sent to a girl on your phone.
This game.
You don't have to say the name of the girl.
Well, I know
you just
Hold
read
on,
the
I can
text.
see it from here. You up?
He may actually have we can start moving your mouth and we'll soundbite this in later. But because we're using your phone, you may actually have gotten saved from this punishment.
Yeah, my phone's recording.
But I'm sure it was to Mom,
I'll-
love and miss you. Talk to you again tomorrow.
Thank
I'll
you.
paste the text in later.
Overlay it. All right.
It was definitely my couch pulls out.
And so do I, but we're going to edit that part out. All right, Amar, final heads or tails. Please make your selection.
Tails.
Deep philosophical question. what are the qualities
I'll
that
take
you
it.
look for in a life partner?
Oh, Jesus.
Ooh, you
Loaded.
can't fuck this one up.
Kind-hearted, smart, lovely, genuine, real. Big heart is
You
usually the
saying
biggest
more
one.
generic words.
Yeah. Really taking the safe route here.
Yeah, 'cause
Sound like Matt James.
kisses with their eyes open. Loves dogs. All the simple stuff.
And Joe, you want to close us out?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to
Thanks
the
for listening
Scoundrels
to Scoundrels Podcast.
Thanks
Swipe
for
up,
coming.
subscribe,
Thanks for coming, y'all. See you
follow
next
Vinay
week.
on Instagram.
Vinay, our new regular. Welcome to the house.
See you guys.